1216 podcast. What do you want to talk about? I'm kidding. Welcome back, though, to another episode of the 1216 podcast, manga section reaction addiction edition, where we are going to talk about 1140 Scopper Gaban or Gaban, depending on how you use it, with the kanji letters, of course, with that Y being inside there after the A instead of his name. But we all know him as Scopper Gaban, the left hand to the king of the pirates, Goldie Roger. Whew. You know it's going to go down inside this chapter with some people. But we start off, of course, because we seen last week that Pepe and Uti got captured by Who's Who, and now Who's Who has her picked up and is throwing darts at her, has her up on a dartboard and is throwing knives at her, missing, of course, like that. And is sitting there simply just torturing her, and she, of course, is upset because if you lay a hand up on Pepe, it's going to be hell to pay. But we jump back into the actual action where we leave off when we have Scopper Gaban looking at Luffy and telling him, "You want this key? You want some? Come get some." In the words of John Cena, of course. But that's exactly what Luffy does. Luffy's like, "Okay, this how you want to play? Bet, watch this." And as he jumps down, Zoro remembers the flashback that Colin had, was saying his day used to be a pirate and can even hold his own against Elbaf warriors. Now that's a feat unlike any other. But as we look at what Luffy is doing, as he tries to grab him starting off back, of course, Scopper Gaban sees it. He dodges it with ease while he's holding a giant key. And we all know Luffy doesn't really want to fight him at all, but Luffy doesn't have a choice. So he has to get this key somehow, some way. So what he's going to do is give it his all. He's going to go ahead and try to attack Scopper Gaban, and Scopper Gaban simply just counters until he puts hockey infused into this giant key, the key that's for Loki's cuffs, and simply rocks Luffy's shit, puts him right into the ground. Luffy is now enraged and pops up, and he's looking on at Scopper Gaban. And as he's looking on at Scopper Gaban, Roto's in the background say, "Hey, wait, you don't have to go this hard." Then Scopper Gaban says something that simply pisses Luffy off. He said, "That's a nifty straw hat you got there. It'll look better on you than the helmet, I bet." He said, "Yeah, because it's a treasure I'm holding for Shanks. Now give me that key." And then Scopper Gaban simply tells Luffy, "Oh, you're just holding it? He didn't give it to you? What a cheapskate." And we all know Luffy is just like Ace in so many ways. You talk bad about Shanks, his really close Nakama, Luffy is going to get enraged. And he says, "No, dummy, that's not what I mean. Don't call Shanks a cheapskate. You have no idea about him." But little does Luffy know, Scopper Gaban knows a lot about him, as he watched him grow up from a mere kid onto the Roger Pirates into the man he is today. And as Luffy's talking, of course, Scopper Gaban is getting the best of him still. He puts the key inside of his mouth. He gets to beating him. He throws it at him, and he pulls out his battle axes. And now he has this Yasotakeru. And as he pulls out these axes and says this move, he starts throwing slashes. And they're flying fast. And of course, now it's time for Zoro to step in as these slashes are coming everywhere. He simply says, "Look out." He jumps inside the way and blocks it. Blocks a few of the hits that's coming at the Luffy. And now Luffy is pissed. He has one of the axes that was stole his way. And Zoro now has his 3-sword style technique on full display. As Scopper Gaban looks on, he says, "Oh, he's in all white. Okay." And then Zoro and Luffy start the counterattack. They charge right in, and Scopper Gaban simply drops his battle axes, puts his hands inside the air and says, "You win." And we all know how that goes. Luffy and Zoro crash right into the ground because they're both in shock now, and because they think that this man is playing games. Surya is now playing good games with both of them, as he just tried to really knock both of them off like this was some type of joke. Scopper Gaban simply says, "Hey, the key's inside your possession. Do as you want for the most part. And in that case, I'm going to go ahead and walk away." And as Roto says, as he's walking away, Roto says simply, "You guys must not know who this man is. This man is," Scopper Gaban has to cut him off right there because, hey, don't tell them who I am just yet. Let them find out for themselves. Just like they found out for themselves with Rayleigh, they find out for themselves, of course, who I am. As Scopper Gaban simply just turns around and says, "You know what? if you guys are still here and Elbaf is still intact, by the end of this, come find me. I'm sure we meet again. And he walks away from it. But as he walks away, we shift ourselves back into the owl, not the owl library, but into the school. And we're at the school, at the Walrus School, when it's a bird inside the sky. But it's not really a bird. It's an arrow shaped like a bird flying around. And of course, it's Gunko and Shamrock. Gunko and Shamrock are sitting there and they're looking down at the school like, this is like serving up to us on a platter. Let's go ahead and just give this our all and take these giants in with us. She puts her hand out and she says, I'll make the call. As a giant circle pops up on the ground, we all know what that means. It's summoning jutsu time. As they summon 2 holy knights to the field. We have Saint Summers and Saint Killingham. They both are summoned there. Saint Summers is inside of his underwear still because he was inside of his front room. Gunko simply brought him and his chair out just fast as ever. And he thinks to himself, wow, why are you here with me? But you're not here with me because I'm actually here with you. You summoned everything, Gunko, I see, huh? And Gunko, of course, is sitting there like, hey, it's time to get serious. And they know it's time to get serious because as Summers looks over, he sees Shamrock sitting right there. And of course, Shamrock being the commander of the Holy Knights, it's whoa. The big dog, what is he doing here? We don't all have to be here, do we? And of course not. Somebody's going to send back, whether that's Summers or whether that's Killingham. One of them is getting sent back. It's the orders from above. So the situation here in the Holy Land is rather dire. It's all going wrong since the Reverie, and it's now time for them to show the benefit of Shamrock. To show that they have somebody who looks just like Shanks, but things started going wrong since the Reverie. Now, this is where Shanks comes into play, because I'm looking on with it before we even finish the chapter off. Well, we finish it off right now. Nonetheless, of course, he's there. They're asking him to see, hey, you can't travel throughout the abyss because these kids have to go, they're not have the mark to travel. So that is the first thing that we find out, how they travel. They have to have a certain mark up on their body or somewhere up on them in order for them to travel through the abyss to get summoned. So that's the teleportation. That's one thing that we find out that was really clutch. The next thing is this. Summers thinks that, we probably just have to go the long way back and take them back up on a ship to go back to the Holy Land and bring these Elbaf kids back with us. And of course, Frigolin Shamrock simply states to himself, you can make this to the game with that power of yours. You can do it. For the most part, the Reverie is when things all started. When Shanks made that appearance back to the Reverie, I don't know, could that have been the only appearance that Shanks had made? If that was Shanks. If it was not Shanks and it was actually Shamrock, then it makes sense. We still don't know what Shanks' one-time visit was. But if the Reverie was that time that Shanks went back onto the island, which I don't think that would be, it probably would have been somewhere along the lines of a little bit further down inside the past when he was probably a teenager or his early 20s. I don't see him doing it right now as an adult too often, but it's Ichiro Goda we're talking about right now, and he throws us for twists and turns all kind of way. We all had the Shanks as a twin, Gildarts thing going strong. Now Gildarts is real. His name is just not Gildarts, it's actually Shamrock. So this is going to be one of those things where we just have to speculate and use our best judgments as One Piece fans to truly see what the outcomes actually are from when the Reverie happened, what went down, what did Shanks or what did Shamrock say to the Guru say that made everything from that point on just get worse and worse and worse. But again, this is all of our speculation. I am excited to see what happens next. There is no break inside the chapter for next week. We're going to be getting it right, be going right into it. So I'm excited. Hope you guys are as well. This is 12 on the podcast, officially signing off. Please make sure you guys hit the like button. Put down a comment down below. Who do you think actually is the person that talked to the 5 girls, the elders, when they went down there? Was it Shamrock or was it Shanks? Let's talk about it. 12. See you in the next one.